You know Michael Jackson's Jam, right? That beat, the video with MJ and Michael Jordan, it's iconic. But what if there's something deeper going on? What if it's not just a pop song, but like a user's manual for unplugging from the whole system we live in? Yeah, let's get into that.
So, for decades, we've all been dancing to this track. But the analysis we're digging into today says we've kind of missed the whole point. The argument is that underneath that amazing rhythm, Jackson hid this really radical message, a call to action, against all those invisible forces that kind of run our lives.
All right, so before we can even talk about what it means to jam, we got to figure out what we're jamming against, right? The song sets up this villain, but it's not a person. Nope, it's way, way bigger than that.
This line right here, this is the key. It's the starting block for this whole philosophy. Jackson isn't just dropping a cool lyric. He's talking about a state of being, about being programmed. Just moving through life on autopilot, doing what you're told by a system we almost never stop to even think about.
And that brings us to another one of his huge characters, right? Smooth Criminal. The thinking here is that the smooth criminal isn't some gangster in a cool white suit. No, the smooth criminal is the system itself. It's modern civilization, like this runaway train that just quietly and super efficiently crushes the human spirit. It turns us all into cogs in the machine, accessories to the crime, without us even realizing it.
So what does it mean to be smooth then? Well, it's about being that perfect little cog in the machine. It's about keeping things moving, not making waves, just going with the flow, even when your gut is screaming that something is wrong. It's when you put the system's smooth operation above your own conscience, your own humanity.
Okay, so if being smooth is the big problem, Jackson gives us the solution in one single powerful word. So, what does it actually mean to jam?
Jamming is, well, the exact opposite of being smooth. It's literally the act of throwing a wrench in the works on purpose. It's that moment you decide to stop, listen to that voice inside, and actually do something about it, even if it totally messes up the system's flow.
Here's a great way to think about it. Picture a car crash. The smooth thing to do, drive by. Maybe you slow down to look, but really you're worried about causing more traffic. You're keeping the system flowing. But the person who jams, that's the person who pulls over, gets out of their car, pushes through the crowd, and actually tries to help. They've just disrupted the whole system, the traffic, for something way more important, their own conscience. And here's the really crucial part. This isn't just about, rebelling for the sake of it. Jackson frames this whole thing as an action that comes from a place of real inner peace. It's not about creating chaos. It's about finding your own truth inside yourself and then having the guts to go with it, to act on it.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds pretty deep for a pop song, right? But the argument here is that this philosophy, it has a real-world legacy, a powerful one. This is a force that has literally changed the course of human history.
I mean, when you really break it down, what is jamming? It's the act of disrupting a system by following your conscience. And that, my friends, is the absolute essence of nonviolent civil disobedience. It's not just a personal philosophy, it's a political strategy.
Just think about it for a second. Giants of history, right? Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. They built their entire movements on this very idea. They got people to consciously and, really importantly, peacefully disrupt the smooth operation of totally unjust systems. We're talking everything from colonial rule to racial segregation. Those famous salt marches, the lunch counter sit-ins, those were massive, history-making jams. They deliberately ground the machine of the old system to a halt. They created a disruption so big, so impossible to ignore, that the system itself was forced to stop, look at itself, and ultimately change.
Okay, so we've looked at the big idea and we've seen the huge historical impact. But Michael Jackson's message wasn't just for historical figures, right? It was for you. It was for me. So how do we actually apply this to our own lives?
Right. The main thing to get here is that the power to create a jam, whether it's a huge one or a tiny one, it doesn't start out on the streets. It starts right here inside your own head. It's an internal journey. It's all about self-awareness.
And that journey kicks off with this really honest admission. It's about looking in the mirror and recognizing, wow, I am conditioned by the system. Because we all are. We're all taught to go with the flow, don't rock the boat. Admitting that isn't a sign of weakness. It's the first, absolutely essential step.
And this is where that journey leads. You go from just seeing your conditioning to finding this core of personal truth, this inner peace. And that conviction, that's what gives you the strength to act. It's what lets you go with it when the time is right.
And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. Jamming the system doesn't mean you have to go out and lead a revolution tomorrow. It can be small things. It's speaking up in a meeting when something just doesn't feel right. It's stopping to help a stranger when everyone else is just walking by. It's choosing a path that feels true to you, even if it's not the smoothest or easiest one.
So, I want to leave you with one last thought. There's this idea in sociology called the cage of self-evidence. It's basically all the invisible assumptions we live by. You know, the stuff we accept as just the way things are. What Michael Jackson's Jam is really doing is handing us a key. It's an invitation to finally see the bars of that cage, and it's a blueprint for how to start bending them. So the real question is, what part of your own smooth running world is just waiting for you to jam it?